Alright, today we're going to be solving compound inequalities, which is just taking two inequalities and putting them together. So first thing we're going to do is work on translating a sentence into a compound inequality. So this first one, x is greater than 0 and less than or equal to 4. I'm going to write out two inequalities. So x is greater than 0 and x is less than or equal to 4. I always want the least number on the left, the greatest number on the right, just like on a number line. And I always want the x in the middle. So 0 on the left, x in the middle, and 4 on the right. And then just make sure my signs are the same way. So make sure my alligator's mouth is eating the same number. So I got less than or equal to with the 4. Alligator's eating the 4. And the other, on the top one, x is greater than 0. My alligator should be eating the x. So that's how I'd write that sentence. That's for any and sentence. I should be able to write it as with two inequality signs. When I have an or sentence, like in the second one, x is less than -1 or greater than 2, all I have to do is write two inequalities and then put an or in between. So x is less than -1 or x is greater than 2. And that's my answer. So when I'm solving these compound inequalities, so these are all and inequalities, what I can do is I want to get the x, or the variable, isolated in the middle, and so I'm going to do it by the same way that we would solve a regular equation. I want to undo whatever's being done to x. So for the first one, I'm going to add an 8 to the middle to get rid of that. I'm also going to do that on the left and on the right side. So I've got 6 is less than or equal to 3x, which is less than or equal to 18. Then to get x all the way by itself, divide everything by 3, including the left and the right side. So my answer is 2 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 6. Then I'm going to graph on a number line. So I've got 2 and 6. They're both going to be closed circles, so I open the since they're both less than or equal to, do a closed circle, and then what I'm going to do is, no, that doesn't look nice. There you go. The first inequality I'm going to graph is 2 is less than or equal to x, which, since the x is on the right-hand side, I'm going to go, I can't look where the arrow is pointing, I have to go the opposite direction, so I'm going to the right. Then the second one that I'm doing is going to be x is less than or equal to 6, which x is less than or equal to 6 means that my arrow is going to be pointing to the left. Since the x is on the left, my arrow is going to point whichever way the inequality is pointing. When I'm solving these inequalities that has an or statement, these are easier. It's the same thing we did yesterday. All I have to do is solve each one individually. So I'm going to solve the one on the left. So I'm going to -1, -1, so you get 3x is less than 3. And then divide both sides by 3. So you get x is less than 1. On this other example, add 5 and add 5. So you get 2x is greater than 12. And then divide both sides by 2. So you get x is greater than 6. Now all I have to do here is write or in between. So x is less than 1 or x is greater than 6, and then I can graph these on a number line. So you have 1 and 6. They're both going to be open circles since they're the one's less than, the other's greater than. X is less than 1 means that my arrow is going to be going to the left. X is greater than 6, my arrow is going to be going to the right. These examples are going to be when I'm dividing both sides or each part by a negative number and have to flip all of my inequality signs. So again, just like we did on the last slide, I'm going to add a 2 to get my x by itself in the middle, so I have to do it to the left and also to the right. So you get 0 is less than negative x, which is less than 3. Since it's a negative x in the middle, it's the same thing as a negative 1x, so I'm going to divide by negative 1 and do the same thing to the left and right side. So 0 is greater than, I have to flip my sign since I divided by a negative, x, which is greater than negative 3. When I graph these on my number line, I have to be careful because when I flip my signs and divide by a negative, I can't go in the same order. So just like before when we wrote our equations, our least number was on the left, our greatest number was on the right. This is actually going to change this. My least number is negative 3, which is on the right, and my greatest number is 0. So make sure that I don't write them in this order. Make sure I write them in the order that they should be. So now again, first one I'm going to do is 0 is greater than x, which is going to be an open circle, and I'm going to point to the left. The second one I'm doing is x is greater than negative 3, which is another open circle, and my arrow is going to the right.